In this video, we're going to be talking about some general rules based on patterns from our models that we've worked with and through estimation to kind of get an idea of how we can attack any addition or subtraction problem with positives and negatives. So like I said before, we did talk about things like magnitude, opposite, things like that. But what it really boils down to is that addition, subtraction really give you a set of instructions. So what we're going to do is translate what do each of these instructions mean. So how I like to think of it is that add and subtract tell you something. So it's like this one, it says to go up, and subtract tells you to go down. So like we did with the number lines there. The other thing is that when we thought of positives and negatives, they also had this idea of going up and down, but really we could think of it as positive is like a normal number or a regular number, and negative is the opposite of that. So we were talking about how negatives are really just the opposites of positives. So when we add positives or subtract positives, we do a normal thing. We normally will go up if we're adding positive, we'll go down if we're subtracting positives. And then negatives mean if we go up, we're actually going to do the opposite, so we're going to go down. So all that is to say that I'm going to actually translate this into when you see a addition or subtraction sentence, you're going to think of it as a starting point. So you're going to start. Then it's going to tell you whether you add or subtract. And then it's going to tell you the magnitude or the distance that you're going to go up or down by. And then it turns into that is your sum or that is your difference. Okay, so we got that kind of general idea, right, that we got from the number line. So here what I want to think of is when we see the instruction for add and subtract, if we see add, we're going to say go right. If we see subtract, we're going to see that as go left. So we'll start at a point, which is our first number, then we'll go right or go left depending on if we add or subtract. Then if our magnitude is a positive number, it's just do regular. Just keep going, whatever direction it tells you to go. But if we see a negative number, we're going to translate that into go the opposite way. And then we would say, okay, so whatever this instruction tells us to do, we're going to combine it. So is it add a positive? Well, that means go right the regular way. If it's add a negative, we're going to go right but do the opposite, which means we're going to actually translate that to go left. Same thing with subtract. Go left with a positive is to go regular left. Go left with the negative is to go the opposite. So let's see how this works with a couple of different examples. -6 plus -3 means that we're going to start at -6. Add means to go right. And then this negative sign means we're going to go the opposite of right. So instead of thinking of that as right opposite, we're going to translate that into go left. And we're going to go left by 3. So starting at -6, if I go left 3, 1, 2, 3, where do I land? Well, that's going to land me at +3. So that means that the answer to this has to also be +3. And the next one, 5 minus -2, again, we can translate this into subtraction equals go left. Negative means go opposite. So what's the opposite of left? Well, that is go right. So we're going to go right by 2. So starting at 5, we're going to go right 2, and that lands at 7. So that means that 5 minus -2 equals +7 when we follow that general rule. Final example, -3 plus 8, again, starting point -3, plus we're going to say means to go right. And because this is a positive number, we're just going to do it regular. So we just go regular right. There's no opposite or anything. So starting at -3, we're going to go right by 8. And that means we're going to go past 0. So that's 3 spaces. And then we need 5 more spaces. So that puts us at +5. So that means that this will equal +5. So that's essentially what we do with general rules is we're going to take it and any type of addition or subtraction problem, we're going to translate the adding and subtracting into right and left. And then positive means we go the regular direction and negative means we go the opposite direction.